if you're out there following the stream, I don't have the mics on, but we're having an interesting conversation on alignment. So I'm going to turn on the mics, and you can listen in, and feel free to join the argument in the chat window. So
Are you back on?
yeah, we're back on. I've have their mics on, and I'm just gonna
I cannot follow. I cannot get you to.
just
I
put this
cannot
on there.
post you at the moment.
I'm on. People, we have 4 viewers, so we're
Yeah.
there. We're live.
We'll say you brought
I'll,
up the neutral earlier, and the first thing I thought of is just Romulans, because that's one of my favorite running jokes in the Next Generation. Is they ever go anywhere near the neutral zone, and there's immediately a Romulan there going, "You're not supposed to be here," and it's like, well, neither are you. That's the term of the treaty. But like every time we're here, you seem to be here as well. So
yeah, they're well. See, Romulans are the epitome of lawful evil.
but they're basically Roman based. So
And I think that Vulcans, not humans, most humans are chaotic good. Almost every human is chaotic good. Vulcans are neutral good. Vulcans don't care about law or chaos. They're strictly, this is what's right based on the logical explanation of what happens.
Interesting.
I would completely.
And that's how I see them, as they're like Spock. Spock is closer to chaotic good than he is neutral good, but I would call him neutral good because regardless of how anybody feels about something, you're just going to get the straight facts. It's not whether the law says this or whether your feelings say this. This is what's the logical explanation of what this is. So that's what I call the neutral portion.
See, I don't know. I would struggle with that too, because like Vulcans are all about like you said, they're all about logic, right? So
Yeah.
their system of order is logic. They like have expelled emotion for the purpose of maintaining order. And I feel like that is like the epitome of lawful. I would feel like that's lawful neutral above all things, because it's like we do these things, we follow these rules, we expel our emotions, we do not live by our passions, we live by what is logical and order and what makes sense based on logic completely. But we have no we don't care if we don't care about what's good or what's bad. We go by only what is logical, and I feel like that's lawful neutral.
Yeah.
I agree with that, but like, okay, so this is where I'm going to cheat a little bit because I went to college specifically to learn about ethics philosophically.
Nice.
And one of the issues that the Vulcans have, just period, is that their logic has to be based on particular axioms. When you get started on a logical course, there's a goal in that course, and that goal is in itself an ethically based one. So from what I have seen, their sort of morality system, as it were, would be what's referred to as a deontological system. That being that there's these pre-existing, pre-established like rules of conduct that one has to sort of keep themselves to, in order to maximize the goodness of whatever it is that they do. And so using these pre-existing rules, they maintain a sort of logical consistency in doing so, regardless of how much that might hurt or hinder other people, because the basic idea is that if we maintain these rules, the end result is going to be better than if we didn't maintain these rules. Which in itself might not necessarily be like entirely logically consistent. But it's an interesting notion because logical consistency is generally a byproduct of a good moral system, but it shouldn't be like the end goal, because you can be 100% consistent with your logic, but that can still end badly. What brings to mind for me, I believe the Federation, for instance, I would refer to them as utilitarians. What they want to do is they want to create the maximum amount of good and minimize the amount of suffering that happens. And that's kind of like their main goal. That's what all their rules are sort of like based off of. And the problem with that is that there's always, especially when you start introducing like creatures of a different like lifestyle that we can't possibly consider. What if you come across an alien species that if they eat people, they experience so much like bliss and euphoria from doing that it's more than the suffering of the person that they just ate. Um, in that instance, technically speaking, the utilitarian thing to do would be to just feed people to that species. Um, but and if you were to remain logically consistent, then you would say, yeah, we would do that. But that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound like a thing that you'd want to actually do. Um, so it's complicated because the Vulcans themselves, being deontologists and being holding true to that as much as they possibly can, in spite of whatever complications may arise, I would definitely refer to them as as lawful neutral. Um, Especially given that a lot of their sort of like principles seem to rely on not necessarily helping people if they think that helping people is just going to complicate matters further than they can possibly handle. Um, it's that's kind of where come from, is that they're logically consistent, but that logical consistency can lead to both good outcomes and bad outcomes. But they're not really concerned with good or bad outcomes. They're concerned with maintaining their consistency with their principles.
See, I would argue against that. This is going to sort of be a bit of a Fermian argument in terms of the fact that it's based on in-universe material. The history of the Vulcans is essentially they nuked their planet. They were raging, rampaging id monsters that destroyed their civilization, and the Stone Age survivors who were left in that had a sort of Jesus figure among their people who taught them the principles of we use logic and reason, and we use those to calm and suppress our emotions. So it's not that we don't feel, but that our feelings are so powerful we need to sort of control them and keep them in check. And that was sort of the driving principle of like, look what we did to our planet. And I think that's why humans and Vulcans are so hilarious in contrast, because humans have World War III, and then like something like 200 years later are out in space, and the Vulcans are like, it took us tens of thousands of years to rebuild. You did it in 200. You're terrifying.
I agree. My thing is with the Vulcans is that they sort of impose their beliefs on how one ought to like maintain themselves and conduct themselves.
But the problem is all species do that. All species do that.
That's true.
The Klingons are the epitome of chaotic neutral, except for the fact, if it wasn't for the fact that they have a hierarchy system. I always think of
I wouldn't even say that the Klingons are chaotic neutral.
Yeah.
They have a hardcore honor system.
Yeah,
right.
So
the hardcore honor system allows you to assassinate. I always think of the Klingons as the Drow of Star Trek.
The Drow? Really? Yeah. Interesting.
Yes.
Klingons are lawful evil, I think. I would say
their issue is they have this hardcore honor system, but it allows for assassinations of people who you think are inferior.
Yeah, I think Bookist is feeling a little. I think I might lean a little towards Bookist, right? Like, so again, I think you have to think of the dichotomy of each of these lines, right? You have you don't just have good or you have good or evil, right? But you also have law or chaos. So, like, thinking of it that way with neutrality in the middle, like, from my perspective, law is anytime you have a person or group that thinks that there should be some system that we abide by because that keeps things moving accordingly, that's law. Okay, and anytime you have a person or a group that says you follow the passions of your heart regardless of any system, what any system tells you, it doesn't matter. You do what you know is right, or you do what you know, you do what you feel, regardless of any kind of system. We shouldn't have systems. We shouldn't have structure. We shouldn't have government. None of that matters. It should just be each person doing what they believe. Like, that's chaos, right? Is completely like single person self-governing. So if I that's kind of the way that I see the dichotomy between those things, is this struggle between driven by passion with complete disregard for any social structure whatsoever, and law, the far end of law being you follow whatever the established rules are, whatever the established rules are, and those rules are important in spite of what your passions and your feelings are. The rules, you have to govern yourself. You have to discipline your passions in order to follow the rules, right? And like that's the dichotomy there. And then the other dichotomy again is the good versus evil, right? Where you have this sense of doing what's right for all, altruism, versus doing what is ultimately self-seeking, right? That's kind of the way I see it. So in that regard, if you have a system like the Vulcans, right? If you have a system that is logic-based and denies their passions to maintain order through logic, that is a lawful system. That is a lawful society in that regard. I think that.
Can I quickly
Yeah,
just
go
add,
for it.
point there? Would you frame the Ferengi as lawful evil or neutral evil? Because they
I'm
have
reading
the
through
code
this.
of acquisition, but at the same time, the drive for profit is like above everything. So you can sometimes get away with breaking the rules as long as you don't get caught.
Neutral evil. They're neutral evil.
This is where I think that we hit the problems with the alignment system in general, and that it's a little bit too restrictive and a little reductive. Because if we come to this idea that like, hey, if they have like a code of honor or a code of ethics, or if they have like laws in which they must adhere to, then that means that they must be lawful. Then we have like basically any, like an assassin's guild would be lawful evil, a thieves guild would be lawful evil, any guild that does like evil stuff would be lawful by definition, because they have a code that they have to adhere to.
Well, that way with that same way, you can say that the Assassin's Guild is actually lawful good, depending on like from Picard, the Vulcan Assassin's Guild only takes up lost causes. So they're super badass ninja assassons who only fight for the underdog.
Not necessarily.
They're lawful good. They're lawful good.
Most assassins guilds, I would say, more adhere to the people who have the most money, or the people who get to use us.
Right.
I wouldn't refer to them as the underdogs, but
I'm just saying in the context of Star Trek.
Matt,
but back to our point. That's why I normally use it as a rate. Like when I start a campaign, I say, okay, guys, what alignment do you guys want to play? As a whole, you guys want to be an evil campaign or a not evil campaign?
Sure.
Because that shifts the balance. Then, as their character, and I just make them write down where their starting point is. Okay, I'm lawful good, I'm neutral good, I'm chaotic good, as a basis for how they're inferring their character is going to behave. Then over the course of the campaign, my ranger has gone from neutral good to chaotic good to now he's bordering on evil.
I'm going to point out something real quick. Matt, one of our watchers, who's also a streaming dungeon master, Vanishing Zone in the chat. He pointed out that in first edition, in the original alignment descriptions, Nazis were described as chaos, not law, and they have a system of functioning, and I didn't know that at all. And Matt,
the original ones were really weird.
Yes.
Well, yeah, that makes sense to me, because the original Nazis, they didn't really have like any sort of consistency to what they did. There's this whole idea of shrinking the perimeter of allowance that they sort of adhere to, which was this notion of trying in their initial power grabs, they tried to grab as many people as possible as their base of support, and then once they had that power, they started eliminating like each outer layer of support that they had, until they got to like what they considered themselves to be the pure people, which sometimes was in itself inconsistent. they would slaughter gay people, for instance. But if a gay person was like specifically a person in the sort of Nazi hierarchy that did a lot for the system, they just kind of like it didn't really matter that that person was gay. They would be okay with that because he was doing so much good for the party, so to speak. It's the same sense with the idea of racial purity in itself. A lot of it is entirely arbitrary. And as a result, you can include a bunch of people or exclude a bunch of people based on where you put that line, and because it's arbitrary, you can put that line basically anywhere. So initially, they had that line nice and outward, and like allowing for most people that existed within Germany. But then after they took control of the party, and after they took control of the country, they started drawing that line closer and closer to their ideal until they were eliminating most people that they saw as the people that they didn't want in their party. So there was a lot of like strange inconsistencies that went on with the Nazi Party that makes sense to me to call them chaos, because essentially like they just took arbitrary stuff and just made it like and just kept drawing the line in different spots depending on whatever their flavor of the day was. So that makes sense to me. But at the same time, you can point out they had a hierarchy, they had a system, they had governance, they had like very strict law, they had a lot of stuff. But that doesn't mean that does that make them lawful? Does that make them lawful evil that they did that? I wouldn't say so.
So,
It's like you said, though, that because they're continually sort of narrowing down the field, it's sort of a self-destructive ideology because it cannot stay stable long term. The fact that they basically keep cutting the rope out from under them eventually leaves them with no support base. And I also think it's interesting that the first group that they really turned against were the communists. That's sort of how they got a lot of their populist appeal in Germany at the time, was going, look what happened in Russia. They want the same thing here. We have to ban communists.
interesting. Another interesting thing that Matt brings up is that maybe separating alignment from the collective idea, because that's where alignment discussions get derailed. He states that he thinks it's best to say that chaos is valuing wilderness or the wilds, and law is valuing cities, construction, or just the idea that law is obeying the letter of the law, obeying a code in general, like a system of law, whereas chaos is complete disregard for that law, and again following the.
Does that mean that the neutral people are the people who like essentially arbitrarily follow the law? They're like, yeah, I'll follow the law so long as it suits me. Or...
Yeah, I think that's what neutral would be, right? Like somebody who is chaotic would not care about law at all, would follow completely and utterly their own, would follow completely and utterly like instinct, right? Just if you think it's the wilds, then instinct, right? You think you basest instinct. Whereas someone in the middle would vacillate. As someone who's neutral would maybe vacillate.
So then where do you put Batman?
The question of even having an alignment sort of is intended upon the idea of having some degree of power and privilege in society. So like most peasants, you would assume, are true neutral because they have to obey the laws that are in their country, not out of choice, but because it's the position that they're born into. The reason that adventurers get an alignment is that you have some ability to affect and change the world. So how you choose to do that is going to influence people. So whether you choose good or evil or law or chaos is going to affect other people and the world around you.
Matt loves that idea, David.
Point. Yeah, that's a really good point. My problem with saying that like lawful or every society is lawful, and like any sort of chaos is people who sort of embrace a sort of anarcho-primitivist concept. Is that it sort of indicates that a very strange mentality which is if we have societies being lawful because they have strict rules and guidelines and such, and they have a hierarchy, and then we have the neutral people who are like, we'll follow the law so long as it's convenient to us, and if it's inconvenient, then we'll go ahead and disregard it. And depending on the outcomes of that, if you're disregarding for good reasons, if you're disregarding for bad reasons, then that indicates you're either good or bad. Blah blah. That sort of indicates a polar opposite with the chaos people, which is they adamantly refuse to follow any laws, right? The idea of if it's lawful to do X, Y, and Z, well, as a chaos person, I can't do that because I want to disregard whatever that is, regardless of whether or not it's a good idea or a bad idea. And I think I don't like that notion of chaos. Because to me it's not that I'm just like a petulant child who wants to disregard everything that I'm being told of. I think it's more along the lines of I have my own particular like method of seeing things, and I want to maintain that for at the very least myself, if not others.
Sure.
Well, actually, Vanish. I actually disagree with that. I think that the world itself. He said that he agreed alignment should be based on the campaign, not the world itself. Actually, I think that the deities or higher powers that the DM sets in that campaign delineate what is good, what is evil, what is lawful, what is chaos. Because those deities have separated themselves into this delineation and have governance over these things, which classifies those things as lawful good, lawful neutral, lawful evil, chaotic good, chaotic evil.
Again, though, like I think that depends also on, do you use alignment as prescriptive or descriptive? So if a deity, if you're saying that the deity has determined what lawful good is, you're saying he has prescribed a condition upon which lawful good is, that people who are lawful good need to like prescribe to. If you say that we're calling this deity lawful good because the things that they hold to be sacred and unto themselves, those things, that you would describe that deity as being lawful good based on the things that they value, the things that deity values in their worshippers. So like,
yes, absolutely. But that's why, if you notice in D&D, for let's go back to second edition because it's easier to do that. The specialty priests. If you became a specialty priest of a certain deity, you had to fall within a certain alignment guideline.
yes, that's true.
If the deity was lawful neutral, you couldn't be lawful. You couldn't be
Right.
Chaotic good.
The thing is that 5th edition has moved away from that idea, and that's why we that's why we have domains instead of specific deities.
Right.
It's worth pointing out that most deities aren't like restrained to one particular alignment either. Most of them are at least 3 different alignments put together. If a deity is considered majoritively chaotic good, they're still considered to at least be in part neutral good and in part chaotic neutral even. Right. So it's pretty gray even with them.
Right. Well, the deities prescribe the deities are prescribed for alignment.
Oh, that's an interesting question, Bookus.
But player characters are described by them because we have free will. The player characters themselves are.
But I think that the pantheons of D&D are more similar to like the Greco-Roman pantheons in that they have emotion and personality, not just like the gods of these things. They act as if they have free will as well. And Bookus brings up a point of asking, what do we think the difference is between chaotic neutral and chaotic evil? I think chaotic neutral, that's a really great question.
I have a really great way to sort of summarize my opinion on it. Mm-hmm. When you're playing an Elder Scrolls game and you break the law and the guard comes up to you, chaotic neutral pays the fine, uses a lockpick to break out of jail. Chaotic evil says you'll never take me alive and kills the guards.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very small, like very thin line though, isn't it?
Yeah. Um,
It's like because one could be chaotic evil and then but have the like wherewithal and intelligence to be like, I can't take on the entirety of the town guard, so I'm gonna go ahead
Have you
and
never played an Elder Scrolls game?
well,
Actually, can.
yeah, I mean that's always a possibility as far as an Elder Scrolls game is concerned, but there's always you have to bear in mind is that intelligence always comes into play with these sorts of alignments as well. Is that and I would consider a chaotic evil person to be
Oh,
somebody
thank
who
thank you for bringing that up. Sorry, Nor has an in chat question.
yeah.
So hold on.
Oh yeah. That got put in the Discord.
Yeah. Yep.
oh,
Keep going. Don't mind me.
My main thing is I would consider the evil bit to be that which and to be fair this is again cheating in a way in which it was not meant to actually describe. I would consider evil to be the difference between chaotic neutral and chaotic evil to be the difference between somebody who has at least some regard for the well-being of others and someone who has no regard for the well-being of others. Um, it's and I know that seems kind of strange. Like it means that like in order to be chaotic evil, you have to be an absolute monster. But I think that's kind of what's meant to mean by chaotic evil because I've seen so many chaotic neutral people who do all sorts of like terrible things in one way or another, but they also do like a good thing every once in a while. It's
If
just based.
we if we imagine a sort of House of Cards type scenario where you've got like a ruthless, ambitious politician who wants to get to the top by any means possible, a chaotic neutral character, if they found they had blackmail material that was true, would use it, whereas a chaotic evil would completely fabricate blackmail material if that's what it took.
yeah.
I don't even think that because I
I think
think
here's a
that
better
would fall under lawful.
no. Here's a better example. The Joker, chaotic evil in its entirety. There's no way around it. He is completely unchecked in his ability to cause harm. There's no plan behind it. He doesn't sit down and write out a scheme like, Dr. Freeze or anybody else. He just goes out and does whatever he thinks is going to cause the most damage at the time. And then you look at the Hulk in his giant green form. The Hulk is chaotic neutral. He has no driving force of good or evil in him. It is strictly a primal force that needs to be unleashed. Now, the heroes around him have gotten good at pointing him in the right direction when he does that. But they were also the ones that kicked him off the planet because he did that. So, if you look at those two, has the Hulk killed people? Yes, hundreds, thousands of people in his rampages. Is he evil? No, because he didn't do it out of intent. There wasn't an intent for evil. It was just a byproduct of his, primal instincts. Whereas the Joker has evil intent. His goal is to kill people. His goal is to cause chaos. There's nothing more above that.
Yeah,
Argue that because once you start putting intent into it, that makes it even more complicated.
Isn't intent the entire understanding of alignment? Is what
Yes.
your intentions are? Isn't that what alignment is meant to do? Is describe the intent of the actions that you would take? Like, isn't it a way for you to assess those actions and describe like my character's motivations when it comes to this spectrum that alignment is for? It's about motivation, right? And motivation comes down to
Not
intent.
necessarily.
But
Not necessarily
consequences need
because
to be considered as well.
Yeah.
It's not just what you intend; it's also what you do and
because
the
if
impact
somebody
that has.
Sure.
I'm now imagining one of those like incredibly inept evil people who's like trying to cause chaos, but like every single plan that they do actually ends up helping the world. Like, like they're trying to bring down society, but everything they do actually just
Well,
stratifies it further and makes
isn't
everybody happier.
isn't that a chaotic good character, right? You,
Yeah,
you
would that be would that be a
I don't
chaotic good
know. I
character?
don't
It's just
know.
like I'm really
No,
trying to
because
destroy everything, but
no,
like
because
It
his
wouldn't be.
intent.
I think that would be a so like, and yeah, I think uh okay. Somebody said, but seriously, can you give a different example for chaotic evil, one that's not an absolute extreme, like because Joker, right?
Um,
Joker is the like absolute
okay,
extreme end of chaotic
yeah,
evil.
because
Emperor Palpatine.
no, Emperor
No
Palpatine's lawful
way,
evil.
Palpatine
Yeah,
isn't
show you.
chaotic.
He's lawful
Yes.
evil.
No, he's
I
chaotic evil.
No, he's definitely lawful evil. He's definitely lawful evil. He
Broken.
utilized politics specifically in order to increase his gains. Yeah,
In
like
the beginning he was. In the beginning he was, but he's an example of someone who shifted from lawful. First, it was neutral evil because he started off as a Sith apprentice, and the only thing you're worried about is yourself. Then he became lawful evil, took on the apprentice, and took on the mantle of gaining the power and being the Sith Lord. Then he became chaotic evil because he was only interested in the destruction of everyone around him.
Yeah, but Palpatine wants to rule, right? His whole idea is to be in power, right? And in the form of the Galactic Emperor, the Empire, the way that he maintains control is through backbreaking law, right?
Yeah, just like we said, the Nazis, who the Empire is based off of, was chaotic. We all agreed on that.
and therein lies my problem is that we get to this issue.
I don't think that's
where,
chaotic. I think chaotic is outside of the realms of it's like wild ambition. I mean, if you look at the Joker, if you look at the Joker as the extreme, right, of like wild, just
Yeah, but just
wanton
because he's
destruction of everything all the time, right? That is the extreme side of chaotic evil. So what is a little less than that? Okay, so like
I honestly don't think you can. I think chaotic evil necessarily has to be an extreme, because
Yeah.
anything before that, to my mind, speaks
Neutral
more
evil.
to chaotic neutral than it does chaotic evil.
Matt said he thinks that Poison Ivy is chaotic evil, and I
Nope.
feel like
I would say that she's actually chaotic. I would say modern day Poison Ivy right now as she is probably actually chaotic good. She's she's an eco-terrorist, sure, but she has very strict principles and morals that she's operating off of, which
I think someone
she
who's
has some justification for as well.
I think someone who is willing to cause disruption and someone who, like the idea of creating chaos, right? Creating chaos, breaking down order, right? Breaking down that is chaotic. If your intent is to do it in a I don't know how you can be so like what's chaotic good? That's the other question, like on the opposite end of the spectrum, right? What's chaotic good? People
easy.
kill loads of people all the time.
Let's say, for instance, that we
It's
had
Batman.
let's say we had a society that was based entirely off of the exploitation of the lower class, for instance. Like if the slavery was just like the norm. Everybody was like most people owned slaves. If they didn't own slaves, then they probably were slaves. Like this is just how like society is run. And then somebody kind of stands up and goes, "This isn't right. I'm going to take this down." And they start just like I don't know, bombing buildings of rich people who own a bunch of slaves, and they start killing a bunch of people who own slaves and stuff like that. They're killing loads of people, but they're doing it for what? I would assume one would agree a good reason.
What's three? Yes. And okay, so in that regard, a good character in a lawful evil society, right? A good character in a lawful evil society might counter that lawful evil society through chaotic good measures, is what you're saying. Like for instance, somebody said Robin Hood is often cited. You know, like Robin Hood robs from the rich and gives to the poor, right? So like
Look at it, Rosa Parks.
okay.
The law is evil. it's discriminatory, so she makes a protest in public in a way that gets attention to the cause and brings attention to it.
Sure.
That's pretty chaotic good.
Yeah, I can agree with that. You are bucking the law for the purpose of more. You're saying that morals supersede laws, right? So good
Well,
supersedes law.
No, for that
the
character.
law is encroaching on people's freedom. There's an underclass of people who are being oppressed, and so bringing attention to that in a way that sort
Be
of
careful of
gets people's
societies being
attention. I'm like,
monolithic. Yeah, I
this
agree
is-
with that. Yeah, I hear. I do. I agree with what you're saying. I'm trying to keep up with the conversation both that we're having and also in chat. So I'm sorry.
Yeah. To be clear, when I say that modern day Poison Ivy is chaotic good, I say that because in her most recent incarnations, she's actually been taking extreme pains to make sure that she avoids killing as many innocent people as possible. What she prefers to do is just to destroy the plants, not the legit like plants. I mean like factory plants, stuff like that, without killing people. Her idea is basically that like she recognizes that the killing of people is probably not the best way of going about things, but she's perfectly fine with causing mass destruction as far as like property.
How do you classify Batman?
Batman?
Because he has a code. He will not kill.
I'd say he's chaotic good.
Yeah,
However,
I think I'd agree with that too.
chaotic good?
Yeah. I think that Batman, I think Adam West Batman is lawful good.
Yeah.
This is always though in the when it's any character that's existed in a medium where they've been written by a
Sorry,
bunch
Matt.
of
My
different
Nightbot is vicious.
across an extended history of time. It's really hard to sort of set in stone. This is what
Yeah.
Batman is. I'm really partial to the idea of if the Joker is chaotic evil, it's explicitly because he set himself up as the direct counterpoint to Batman. So if Batman's trying to be like, I'm going to embody the law, I'm going to be the goodness that Gotham needs because the system has failed.
Yeah, but he's not good. That's the point. Batman's not good.
Personally, I'm of the opinion that the Joker is chaotic neutral. I understand what you mean, where he causes harm to people.
That's true.
No.
I don't think he goes out of his way to be like, I'm going to
they're
actively make things
two
terrible.
sides.
It's just him being like, I'm going to do what I feel like.
Yeah,
and
they
what I
are two sides of the same coin. They are both chaotic. Batman is good because he doesn't want to kill normal people. He wants to enforce the rules, but he doesn't. He wants to enforce order, but not to the extent of forcing everybody who lives inside of Gotham to follow his rules. Joker, on the other hand, is completely chaotic, but his goals are to literally make everybody in Gotham suffer, or the entire planet, depending on like the New 52 or something like that. His goal is to make everybody suffer. So if Batman's goal is to protect innocence, his goal is I won't kill, but I'll do everything right up until that point to stop evil, everybody on that side of the fence from getting away with it. Then those are the two opposite. Those have to be the two opposites. So it's chaotic good, chaotic evil are the two opposites, not lawful good, lawful evil. No, lawful good, chaotic evil. Those aren't the opposites. It's lawful good, lawful evil. Lawful good is Superman. Lawful evil is Luthor. Two sides of the same coin. They both use the rules. It's one wants to better the entire society, and the other wants to just better himself and his position in that society.
Oh boy, this has been an interesting conversation.
It's the actual notions of what counts as law and chaos and what counts as good and evil
varies from society to society.
That's why it helps for the DM to basically sit down and say, in this setting, here is what good and evil count as, here's what law and evil count as. Because one of the things I find hilarious is that in the description for elves in the player's handbook, it makes a point of that they enjoy the gentle aspects of chaos, like personal expression and art and poetry. And I'm like, okay, but like music and poetry are incredibly dependent upon law because they have like set systems of how they operate and function.
It's true.
You can have free verse poetry, but most poetry follows some kind of form and rhythm and meter, and music is inherently
music is much the same. Yeah, so, there's a thing called music theory. Like most music follows that for reasons, because it sort of maps out the best way in which to make music, and as such, people usually follow it. Now you can do avant-garde stuff that disregards theory. And sometimes you'll come up with something good. But that's not done for the purpose of saying like, nah, this theory is wrong. It's done more for this theory is restrictive. There's a possibility that there might be something more to it than what has been currently disseminated amongst us.
Well, when you get like a school of art like Dada that's entirely built around the notion of we're going to make stuff that's intentionally crass and ugly as a reaction to like the horrors of World War One and industrialization. So there's like
We're still
actual
talking about rules and
inside it.
their
So,
advantage. Ash, Bookus, the hyenas are neutral evil. They only care about protecting themselves. He's talking about the Lion King hyenas. They're neutral evil. They would kill Scar, and they did. They turned on him at the first possible moment to better themselves. But as long as he's in charge and he's more powerful than they are, they're only out for themselves. They only care about making sure that they have food and
but
that they
one of
don't
the things
die.
that annoys me because I hate that when they're going like, like orcs are inherently chaotic evil because they care about their own, and it's like, okay, but if you're going to start labeling people evil because they want to eat and they don't have a place within your system, there's the
Right.
politics behind that.
Well, no, anything that's based on our biggest problem with alignment is, like you said, it's either descriptive or prescriptive, and it is entirely based on the perception of the society as a whole, the predominant society in the area. In the Dwarven kingdoms, in the Elven kingdoms, in the human kingdoms, the primary humanoids, dwarves, gnomes and stuff, lawful good, lawful evil, everything falls under a certain thing. When you move to the other side of the spectrum, being a good orc means killing lots of people. Being a strong, follow the rules orc, you do your job, you stand in line, you fight the good fight, and that makes you good. And it makes the humans evil because they're encroaching on our territory.
Bookist brings up
based on the good place.
I like Bookus bringing up that orcs used to be so inherently chaotic evil that killing orc babies was considered a good thing, because we have also been moving away from that. There was a recent update to sort of like 5e in general that was written by, I believe, Matt Mercer and the Critical Role folks, that indicates that, hey, maybe orcs aren't inherently evil. It's just we see them that way because they're so different from us, different in a wide variety of different fashions.
Right. The thing is that in D&D mythos and Faerun mythos especially, there are races that are literally created by evil gods and through demonic means in order to create evil races, right? And how do you I as a dungeon master never ever play out the different monstrous races as being that but look at Gnolls, for example. They were created from the demon. I don't even know how to pronounce the name, but they were like, they're literally. What's that?
It's Demogorgon.
No, it's not Demogorgon. It's a Yengue or something like that. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm terrible with pronunciation.
Tiefling are a really interesting race example of the fact that in the player's handbook it sort of goes about the fact that because they come from fiendish lineage, people react to them as if they're evil, and so a lot of them go, well, if people are going to treat me like I'm evil, I might as well be evil, which I find hilarious because I have never met a tiefling player who's evil. Everyone always goes, I'm chaotic good.
Tiefling player I make, every tiefling player I see is just like, I just want to be an adorable little person with like horns and a tail. That's all I want.
They want to play Magna character. They want to be Magna. They want to be Magna or anime. It drives me bananas. I'm like, embrace the suck. Embrace the fact that everybody sees you as this, like, in second edition where Vanish was talking about it. Yeah, it was really bad.
That makes sense.
The problem, the problem is I played chaotic neutral barbarians out of the original Unearthed Arcana, and the reason I did so is because I hated the fact that every other alignment, you got punished just flat out punished for not, like, the paladin, wearing blinders, blind to the fact that evil exists. And he would walk around not noticing the rogue picking every lock that he could see when that's clearly against the rules. When he's just like, nope, didn't see you backstab that person when I wasn't looking. Didn't see you steal that chest.
Because if he acknowledges that it happens, then he has to stop it. Because if he doesn't stop it, then he gets an alignment shift, and he gets an alignment shift, then he loses all of his paladin powers.
Exactly.
I think Matt brings up an interesting point in chat that I think we've moved away from, is that during the time of 2nd edition, there was this really strong push towards you play good characters that kill evil monsters because of the entire satanic panic that went along with playing D&D. There was such a strong idea that, and I obviously I wasn't playing Dungeons and Dragons during this time in my life, but maybe that's true, maybe that's not.
And I am a Baptist. My families were a lot of churchgoers. I caught a lot of hell for playing D&D because it summons demons. There's spells in it, and there's all this. None of the groups that I've ever played in over the course of the years, and I started playing in 81. Yeah, about 81, 82, something like that. None of the groups I've ever played in has ever thought that we had to change. We had to play a character a certain way because of society telling us how we did it. D&D was specifically for us to do whatever we wanted in the protection of our own little D&D group bubble. I've played the slaughter it's a kobold, kill it. It's an orc, kill it. My dwarf would kill anything that lived underground. If it was an orc, if it was a goblin, if it was a kobold, I'd never ask questions. We walked into a bar. If there's a kobold there, I'd run over and bury Max in his back. That's the way the dwarf did it. And then I've played other characters that are, super lawful good, and I kicked out every thief we tried to hire. So I think it's inherent. One of the biggest things is it's inherent, and I love the shift that we've made into 5th edition. I love the fact that we've become more inclusive for this, but I do feel that we need to make sure that the inherent freedom for people to play is the fact that you have the freedom to play the barbarian that literally just wants to cave everybody's skull in.
Well, I think that's what 5th edition, so I'll say that as far as the rule system has come, it has moved further and further away from alignment as a driving force for the very reason that people don't want to be pigeonholed by their alignment. And that's why they moved away from even clerics and paladins being directly connected to specific deities. They've moved away from having clerics and paladins and other classes have to be directly tied to an alignment, is because people want to be able to play, we play more complex stories, I think, since the 90s. There was this evolution, I think, in role-playing games where people played more stories where there were more and more shades of gray, and the stories were about the characters and the character development and the way that the stories kind of build out. And so I think alignment has lost its, I think there are places where the necessity for alignment to be a part of the game lessened more and more because of those things.
I do have a problem with paladins not being required to be lawful. I have a huge problem with that because, one, I grew up with you had to be lawful good, first of all, right? For almost 30 years, I played where a better part of my lifetime was paladins had to be lawful good. The problem I find with entirely shifting away from alignment, while I do believe that it's given us more leeway, it has also brought up the fact that people can play a paladin who can do whatever they want and there's no consequences. And there's a lot of DMs who will just allow that. which is why I still use the old system of keeping track of what your character's doing during the course of the
They have
adventure.
to be. I don't make it so that they have to be lawful necessarily. I just ask them at the onset, what is the god that you're going to be worshiping? We're going to stick with you maintaining that morality. Like
Yeah.
that is what that is
Well,
what you're.
I like the
That's the god
codes.
who's giving you your powers.
Right.
So.
I like the codes. I do like the oaths. My problem is it's very easy to just loophole your way right out of it. Being the loophole king myself, I've done that more times than I can count. But my issue is that there has become a way where people can say they're playing lawful good. Oh no, I'm totally lawful good, and then burn down an entire village. Like no, you were lawful good before you burnt the village down. Now you're slightly less lawful good. That's you can't just go around wholesale murdering people, being a murder hobo, and say you're lawful good. That's not how that works.
Like I brought up earlier, though, I think that having alignment archetypes, so that you sort of set out this is the kind of role I'm trying to play, and then having alignment, and then the various sort of personality traits, ideals, bonds, flaws are in the 5th edition system. It's all just giving ammunition to the DM for them to be able to sort of put your character in a moral quandary. I'm going to pose a challenge. How would your character react to this? And sort of knowing what alignment you're trying to play helps.
Why it gets frustrating
frame
when a player decides to just disregard that stuff whenever it's convenient for them.
Yeah.
It gets really frustrating when a character's like, yeah, my ideal is this. And it's like, all right, well, I'm going to present you with a situation where if you follow your ideal, it's going to get a lot of people hurt. And they're like, yeah, all right, well, I'm just going to go ahead and abandon that then. It's like, all right, well.
Yeah, that's not your ideal. That's not your. Yeah, that's the guy. That's what I'm talking about. Where it's just like, yes, here's this. As a DM, we use those as guidelines for when we're creating campaigns and we're trying to funnel the story into. Okay, here's the next big story arc you guys are going into, and if a player just goes, okay,
all right, guys. We're gonna I think we're gonna try and get started. Nor is connected through voice, so that's fine. I can just move his character around on the screen, or we can do theater of the mind or whatnot. I have Avray in Discord, so he's gonna roll on there.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
So thank you all for thank you everybody
20 minutes of me being asleep. So
thank you everybody for who's been in chat and enjoying this conversation and taking part in it. I hope it was interesting.
Could we just go back to Star Trek Captain? So how do we align Captain Archer? Because I say chaotic evil.
Yeah,
No, he's just lawful stupid.
Committing genocide.
Yeah, he's lawful stupid. I agree with that one.
Captain Archer.
I'll discuss him because Archer's a dork.
The entire Enterprise thing is just
No, we don't. That's not canon. That's just. And while I enjoy Picard, the series, Picard's not canon either.
All right, let's get into this whole D&D thing. Let's play some D&D. Well, instead of talking about D&D, let's play some D&D.
Instead of talking about D&D, let's go ahead and get killed by these creatures here.
Yeah. Okay. So when
we'll be fine now. You'll be the first one down.
I'm gonna mute my mic. I'm gonna go have dinner. Let me know when I'm back.
Oh, I mean, no, you gotta be here. You gotta do this. You're the chaos master right now, not by choice.
So is Vasir up here? Because I ended up having to drop out early last time. Is Vasir up here because he's like standing guard with?
Yeah, you and Sharpbite are kind of watching things. So I'll give us a little introduction here. Why don't you guys all go ahead and introduce your characters real quick and you.
Right. I'll go ahead and go first since I'm the first next to Mark on the Roll20 anyway. I am Alex. I play Vasir, the monk, the rather joyous monk, I suppose, who spends most of his time being extremely pleasant, at least as much as he can be, though recent sessions have made that incredibly stressful and difficult to do.
Hey, my name is Kim. I'm playing Mirth, the tiefling bard / warlock, who is on the run and has found his way into this merry little ragtag group of adventurers.
I'm David. You might see me as Dark Dreamer. I'm playing Angus, a rogue of the revived archetype, and I will be doing my best to make sure he does not die again this session.
And I'm Loophole King, and I am playing Tsurani, your resident tree folk person, fungus lord. And I am currently charmed and frightened and running around, picking a fight with everything on the battlefield. So
You're actually suffering from temporary madness.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
that's even worse. So
Yeah.
thanks for bringing that up. Appreciate that.
For the next 7 minutes, you are going to just kill everything around you.
Yeah.
Nor, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I'm Noor. I'm playing Luna, the life domain cleric, the half elf. And I'm sadly can't. I'm having some technical difficulties, but we'll see what happens today.
And I'm the Mark Knight. I am your dungeon master this evening. When we last left off, they had descended into this crater where a towering, gigantic mushroom sat at the center of the crater. Vasir and Sharp-Eyed, their lizardfolk companion, are watching out at the top of this ridge that forms around the crater and leads down into it, and he is kind of unaware of what's going on below because there is a fog cover that this kind of iridescent swirling colored fog that makes it hard to see down into the canyon below. But once the others descended, they found that there were a bunch of there were just a bunch of strange and disfigured, odd kind of mockeries of life. These fungal creatures and humanoids of varying different types that had been just desiccated and like rotted by this fungal muck, and they were dancing about in revelry around the giant mushroom. And upon seeing this this vision of horrors, Tsurani was driven mad with rage. And when we last left us, he had charged into this group of dancing revelers in order to hack down anything and everything in his path. And so, Tsurani, you actually go first. We do have initiative already rolled.
I'm not showing on the D&D Beyond for the...
Are you not?
No.
Vasir did roll a 28, though. Would it turn first?
Oh yeah, looks like I did.
Oh, you did. Yeah, let's start it from the top. And let me check into that. It's your character is showing up on the I have you in the D&D Beyond. I can see that.
Yeah, I don't see me on the live stream.
Yeah, it's there. I see it. So,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh, I'm back on another page. You have too many people. Okay, that's all right.
Very
then.
odd. All right, so Vasir, you are standing at the top of this ridge, just beyond the mist. The mist is kind of rolling at your ankles out of this crater beyond, and you and Sharp-Eyed were originally standing guard, just kind of making sure nobody came up from behind.
So from here, have I noticed any sort of like chaos going on down here?
Did you guys call out either Angus or Mirth when Tsurani charged? What was your reaction to it? Guys, Angus, Mirth, what was your reaction to Tsurani's charge?
So I just lifted the hood of the lantern to let some light show out, and I'm just gonna have my hand crossbow prepped and ready. So it's like, I guess we're doing this.
Right.
I'd probably laugh and then draw my sword and skid down the ledge.
So I see a light. I hear Mirth laughing. Probably like chaotically in some degree.
Oh yeah, definitely.
From the ledge here, is it possible that I might be able to leap on top of this giant mushroom?
No, the top of that is actually you can see the top from where you're at, like up above you. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the stalk is the top of that mushroom is actually towering over even where you are.
You'd say it's probably like, I don't know, like what, 100 feet up from where I am?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, instead then, what I will do is I'll go ahead and hop down the cliff side here.
Okay.
The best that I can. Let's see. That was, yeah. That's 40 feet there. You need me to make like an acrobatics roll?
Yeah, give me an acrobatics roll.
Ah. Well, darn.
So yeah, you go to jump down this cliff face, and you end up stumbling and rolling and landing face down in this fungal muck. You kind of just this disgusting ooze is all about you, and it smells putrescent, and now it's in your hair. And you're gonna take 5 falling damage from your trip down the cliffside.
Guys.
Can you use slow fall when you're sort of tumbling head over?
I was actually kind of like looking to see if I had slow fall yet. I didn't notice.
Yeah, I'm not sure
I
if
think
Didn't you get
level
a fourth
4?
level? Yeah.
Is that 4th level?
might
Yeah,
be.
it is
Yeah,
fourth
because
level,
they get
actually.
stunning fist and extra attack.
Okay, I reduced any falling damage equal to 5 times my monk level. So actually, I don't take any.
You don't take any. Yeah, you're able to slow your descent.
I still land rather ungracefully.
Yes, you land prone and covered in disgusting putrescent muck.
You slow rolled down the hill.
Tsurani, you charge the first thing you see. Go ahead and make an attack roll. Remember, you have to just use your action to attack every round for the next, 7 minutes.
I miss.
Oh. Dang. Okay. You charge this hook horror that has been infested with fungal spores and is just pouring out muck from its mouth and its eyes, and you can see pustules formed all over it, and you don't care. You just want to destroy it. But
Horror. That's horrifying.
your raging attack swings completely wide of the creature. Luna, it is your action. You are still up on the ridge. Probably a good... let's see. You're about 30 feet behind Angus up on the ridge. You can jump down into it or attempt to, or you can kind of run down and back up Angus. If you can get on Twitch, by the way, you can turn the sound off and just look at the screen and tell me where you want to head. You'll be able to see the map.
Yeah, exactly. So Luna approaches the edge of the cliff,
Okay.
closer to where Vasir fell, and she looks towards it, and
Okay.
she's you okay there, Vasir?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just didn't land. I now have a lot of smelly stuff on me.
Well, be careful. And she looks towards Tsurani, where a bit confused at what he's doing, but seeing he is attacking the first creature, she casts Toll of the Dead, which is a 14 Wisdom save on the creature,
Okay.
directly in front of Tsurani.
Yep. It fails its wisdom save as you cast Toll of the Dead upon it.
It's not damage, right?
It is not damaged. No, nothing has been damaged yet.
Okay.
Go ahead and you're rolling an Avery, right?
Yeah, 5 damage.
5 damage. Okay. All right. The sound of a funeral dirge rings out around you, Tsurani, and you see the creature kind of shake its head as this sound enters its mind. Some of the other spore servants who look like elves or humanoids of various kinds, they begin to swarm you as you assault them, stopping their dance and moving to strike.
And she calls to Tsurani, just, Tsurani, what are you doing?
Tsurani does not respond to you.
And that's it.
Okay. These spore servants are going to begin attacking you, Tsurani. There's a 15, a 6, and a 13 to hit you. I believe all miss.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they start slashing at you, and you're just moving, and your vines are kind of undulating out of the way, or you're moving your shield in place to prevent them from striking you. They have these. They're all carrying various short swords or rapiers or other implements that have been kind of covered in this vileness that they are dancing around in. And then the hook horrors move. And they're all attacking you because you are the one closest and the one attacking. So you're gonna 17 and a 25 to hit.
The 25 will do it.
Okay. The first one bounces off your shield. The second one hooks into you, dealing 7 piercing damage. And then the other hook horror starts slashing at you, but you're getting pounded on all sides and just bringing your shield back and forth and jumping out of the way, fighting with an incredible fury. Angus, what would you do?
Oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh. Just gonna take aim at the nearest one, which I assume would be this one here.
Yes.
With my hand crossbow.
Okay, go for it. You fire at the nearest spore servant. Your crossbow bolt slams into it. You wouldn't get the sneak attack, correct? Or
He is within 5 feet, so yes.
okay. All right. So the bolt slams home into the spore servant, and you see like this puff of noxious vapor and vile fluid explode from the back of its head, and it drops to the ground. Stops moving. It falls into this muck and kind of gets sucked back into this vile, disgusting fluid that you're stomping around in.
And then I'm just going to sort of step up from where I've been crouching down by the lantern and just move down the edge of the cliff and then across to there.
Okay. Mirth, you see what's going on, and Angus has just engaged with these creatures. What is your plan in all of this?
All right. I'm going to 20-foot cube. All right. I'm going to cast Fairy Fire right here, so that it hits every enemy except this one, but also hit Tsurani in this case.
Okay.
So DC 15 Dexterity saves.
I'm sorry. Can you point to the one again?
Yeah. So like right around here. So it's a 4x4 cube.
Okay. So, right around here, and you said it's a 4x4 cube. So
I can get it to hit all opponents and Tsurani.
all opponents and Tsurani.
Except the one up in the corner. I think.
Right. Yeah. Okay, I gotcha. So they all have to make saves.
Yeah, deck saves.
Yep. Sorry about that.
Don't worry.
How many of these guys are there? There's 2 of the elf guys left, so 9, 16. And then these guys are gonna roll 17 and a 6.
So 2 fails, 2 successes so far.
Yep, and the lizard folk guy is gonna be a 1. So we'll say that the 2 furthest from the blast from your spell succeed. Okay, are the ones that succeeded, right. And these 3 here failed.
Great. And I will use my bonus action to use Bardic Inspiration on Angus.
Okay. Just gonna put little symbols on them.
Great.
There we go. Okay. The lizard creatures are going to move forward to there. And here. The one closest to you, Mirth, charges at you and swings. Or tries to take a couple of bites out of you. 19 and a 23 to hit. It's going to do a total of 9 damage. 5 and 4.
I will use... I'll burn shield on the first one to get rid of the 5.
Okay. So you take 4 points of damage as its teeth sink into you. You can smell this thing.
Oh, Vasir, it's just like you.
Vasir.
Yes.
We're now both smelly.
Yes. Yeah, but he's smelly and bleeding.
Let's see. I'm gonna spend a key point to dash over.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna start helping out Mirth by getting this guy off of him, or hopefully, anyway.
Absolutely.
And that's gonna be that and that. Well, quarterstaff probably hits. Oh, the unarmed strike probably doesn't.
Yes, the quarterstaff absolutely hits.
This one is fairy fired. You get advantage.
It's fairy fired. You have advantage.
Plus I'm flanking him, so.
Yep.
Oh, there we go.
Hey, there we go.
Right. So both the quarterstaff and the. Actually, you couldn't make an unarmed strike because you used your bonus action.
Oh, that's
to
true,
move.
because that's part of the bonus action.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. But I will count that 26 towards your quarterstaff since you technically had advantage on that.
So they're the same roll anyway. So.
Yep. So you do. You'll do max plus a d6 actually. So
that's
which
going to be 8 plus 4 is 12 plus 5, so 17 actually.
Is it 2d4?
It's 1d8 plus 4.
Your quarterstaff is it's 1d8 plus 4. Okay, so it would be 12 plus 5. No, it would be 12 plus. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
It's 1d8 plus 4, and then it's your max damage, which would be 12, plus a d8 roll, which
Well-
is we'll do the 5. It's fine.
We'll go
So
with
you
that,
do
sure.
17 damage to it. Okay, we'll stick
Alright.
with that. Let's stop complicating things.
Oh, we've lost our Chaos Maker. Oh, there he is.
Here,
All right.
the
Sarani.
wife's just getting ready to bring me some food. I don't want to
Sarani,
chomp in front of the viewers.
it is in fact your action.
The one directly in front of me.
Of course. Go ahead. You have advantage to hit it now because it's fairy fired.
23.
23. You strike it for 4 damage as you
And then
You-
another d6.
rage against it.
And another 3.
Why do you get another d6? Did you...
So I get a d6 plus 3, and then the crit. Oh no, it wasn't a crit.
It
Never
wasn't a
mind.
crit.
My
It was
bad.
just a 23. Yep.
Sorry.
It's okay. Seeing that
I
Vasir
just want
has...
to roll something.
Seeing that Vasir has charged into battle, Sharp-Eyed is going to come join the fray as well. But he's not going to do what Vasir did, and he's going to take the long way around. He will double move. Luna?
She'll approach from on the edge of the cliff, but right next to Mirth on his right.
Okay. There we go.
And
Still
finish
on the
off the
cliff?
While approaching, can she just check if there are more creatures? Is that possible?
Give me a perception roll. It's hard to see in all of this, so I'll need a roll.
Okay.
Let me know what you roll.
Yeah. Oh, 18.
From what you can see, this is the entirety of the creatures that were, well, there are other creatures down there, but they are like these fungal mimicries of life, and they are continuing to dance and not even really paying attention to the chaos that is starting to unravel around it.
We don't see a creature that looks different, perhaps.
Looks different in what way?
It's fine. Never mind. Okay, so she can
Okay.
cast. She's gonna try and finish off the one right next to Mirth.
Okay.
With all of the dead. And as a and calls again to Tsurani.
The creature shrugs off your Toll of the Dead, and Tsurani once more fails to even hear or acknowledge your call. The hook horrors around him will begin to strike.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, you have a bonus action?
Yeah. As a bonus action, Shield of Faith on Tsurani, which gives him a +2 for his AC.
Okay. Tsurani, out of the 2 hook horrors, they each get 2 attacks against you, and only one of them hits. It rolls a 20, and that is going to do 11 piercing damage as it slams its hook into you.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. You've been attacked by the hook horrors. You've also been given armor of Shield of Faith, so you have a +2. You have a +2 to your armor class. The hook horror started slashing into you. It was a 14, 17, 11, and 20. So I know the 20 is the only one that probably hit.
If you did, I have that before. Did I have the Shield of Faith before the hook horror?
Yes.
Then the 20 misses.
Oh. Okay.
I have a 21.
Well
I have
then.
a 19 normally, and the 21 for Shield of Faith gets +2, right?
Yep. So then you are protected from their attacks. The
What's
two
What's his HP?
Tsurani's.
Yeah.
45.
I think he's
minus-
still. Go ahead.
I have 35 right now. My max is 42.
Okay, so he's down 7.
Yeah.
The two creatures that look like elves, putrescent elves. The first one misses. The second one hits. 23 to hit for 4 damage. And then Angus.
So Angus is going to take out his 2 short swords.
Okay.
So spin them. Take the first attack at this hook horror in front of him.
Absolutely. So you go to slash at it, and you are not used to fighting in these murky and kind of strange conditions. Your first attack goes wide of the creature.
Just gonna carry on swinging, bring up the other sword, and stab out with that one as well.
That one strikes home on the creature. It will deal the 9 points of damage to it as your blade sinks into its very, very malleable flesh. Mirth, this disgusting looking lizard folk, is kind of hovering over you, and you can smell its rotting breath as it's just bitten into you. What do you do?
I will frown and give it a and then hex it and attempt to cut its head off. So hex, probably won't matter, but disadvantage on strength checks.
Sure.
While it's hexed. And then solace. Only 12 to hit.
Yeah, you go to strike it, and
Oh wait, it's fairy fired.
yes, it's very fired.
God. Hey,
That will
that's
hit.
a lot better.
Yes, it is.
So, I'll take the damage from the original attack.
Okay, is it one-handed
and
or
then-
two-handed?
Two-handed. I'm not using a shield.
Okay, so you strike with both
so-
hands.
Yes, sir. 10 damage total.
Okay. All right, you cut a chunk out of the body of this creature, and as it cuts off, it just kind of falls apart and falls away into the slop below, causing these disgusting plops. Angus, this lizard-folk creature nearby you, winds its way behind you, kind of wedging you between the hook horror and itself, and it begins biting at you. I've got a 16 and a critical.
They will both hit.
Okay, you're gonna take 4 from the first, and surprisingly, you will.
I'm gonna cutting words on the 16 and cause it to miss.
Okay, yeah, it's an 11 now.
Thank you.
So the creature's first attempt to bite you goes wide thanks to the magical protection of Mirth's words, but the second one strikes home and deals 6 points of damage to you. The other creature is going to turn on you, Mirth, after trying to defend itself against Vasir, and it will once again try to sink its teeth into you. It's a 13 and a 19 to hit.
13 will miss, 19 will hit.
Okay, you're going to take 8 piercing damage as it gets a really solid bite down onto your arm.
Ouch.
But
and
luckily...
concentration for hex.
Yes. Just need to beat a 10. Hex goes down, man. You see the mark that you've laid upon the creature fade into nothingness. Vasir.
I'll go ahead and continue on this guy here.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's switch this to advantage. Do
Show me what you got.
nice.
Oh my
Another
God.
crit.
There it is.
Wonderful.
You
19 damage.
You slam your quarterstaff into this thing's back as it has turned to face face Mirth and just kind of like this upward thrust with your quarterstaff, and it goes right through the creature, and you see this like Mirth, you see this like whitish pussy ooze explode around Visir's quarterstaff, and then it falls into the muck below.
Cyril kind of like twirl his quarterstaff to get the muck off of it and be like, "What's going on, Mirth?"
Oh, it's pretty good. You look like you need a bath.
Yeah, I do. So do you.
Yeah, I mean, thanks to you, of course, but
I'm gonna go help Angus.
you do that. I'll come help you later.
Okay, what are you
What are you
doing with the
talking
rest of-
about? I have things under control.
Everything's fine. Nothing is broken.
Sure, just like I do all the time.
14.
Okay, hold on. I think Visir still has a bonus
Oh,
action.
sorry.
No, it's okay. I moved the
yeah.
I moved the initiative too soon.
Fine. It's all right.
I'm just very enraged.
Visir misses with his unarmed strike anyway. He kind of like loses his footing slightly on the way over. Tsurani, you slam that 14 home actually for 9 points of slashing damage as you cut another chunk out of this creature.
Yep, it's this one here, the one that's just directly in front of me.
Yep,
Paying no attention to anything else.
absolutely.
Die.
Let's see. Sharpbite is going to get closer here, come up right behind Luna, and get ready to enter the fray. Luna, what are you doing?
She calls out to Angus. What's wrong with Tsurani? Why is he like this?
Fight
There's
now.
something wrong
Talk
with him?
later.
There's something wrong with him? I thought he was just fighting.
Well, there's not much I can do. She'll cast again Toll of the Dead on the creature between Angus and Visir.
Sure. It's gonna succeed on its wisdom save. That's an 18.
She's staying on the edge of the cliff, so just keeping an eye out, and that's it.
Okay. The Hookars are going to begin to slam into Tsurani, and actually, this one's gonna attack Angus. Turn and strike at him. 11 and then a 26 to hit. So that's a critical on the second one. You're going to take 16 points of piercing damage as it slams its hook home. The other one is
Angus?
going to... What's that?
To Angus?
Yes. The other Hookar starts beating into Tsurani. The first one's going to miss. And then I'm going to roll another critical against Tsurani. So he's going to take 19 points of piercing damage.
What was the total on the crit?
26.
All right, I'm gonna try and cutting words that.
Okay.
Ah,
And unfortunately, that is not enough to stop it.
tragic.
So Tsurani, you're going to take 19 points of piercing damage as it slams one of its hooks home. And then the Spore Servants start cutting into you. The first is going to miss. The second one is going to get a 21 exactly. That's going to be a seven more points of damage.
I should have saved my cutting words.
I'm at 5 hit points now, guys.
I mean, it makes sense for you to try and cutting words the critical and prevent.
Oh
all
yeah,
that
no,
damage.
totally,
Yeah.
it does. But
Yep.
yeah, I hear all this. I'm like, they're not going to hit me. Crit. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just rolling really high. I'm sorry. I can't control this thing. Angus.
Thinking about Tsurani right now.
That should be the or if the elf's just gone. Sorry, I thought that was
The elves have just gone. Yes.
right. Sorry, I lost track for a second there. So Angus is just gonna spin, take his main short sword attack against the lizard folk and his offhand attack against the hook horror.
Okay.
And would the attack against the lizard folk be with advantage because I'm flanking?
Yes. That's another thing. Like, a lot of these creatures are also attacking with advantage. All right. That does hit. That's the Hookar. Which one is which? I'm sorry. The first one is the...
First one's against the lizard folk, and then it's 2 points of damage against the Hokara.
Okay. So you strike both of them, dealing the 2 to the Hookar and the 16 to the lizard folk. Once again, just this putrescence is spraying everywhere as you slice into these creatures. It's almost like they're barely being held together by the skin that is left on them, and just holding in this fungal mess that is on the inside. Mirth?
Just gonna look up across at Vizier, sort of grin and go, probably not gonna be smoking these ones.
Idea. All right. I'm going to. All right. I'm gonna run up here.
Mm-hmm.
Hex on this one,
Okay.
and then green flame blade.
That uses another spell slot, Actually, how many spells?
Yeah, I know.
Is that your third spell slot?
It is my third spell slot, yes.
Okay. All right.
Luckily I have one more from my warlock dip. So Hex, and then green flame blade on that one.
Okay.
So weapon attack. Boom. 20.
That will
I'll
hit.
just see if I get a crit. No.
No.
And then...
So you get a 7... You're doing 9 damage to the first one?
Yeah, so actually... 14 to the first one, and then 5 to the one behind it.
Okay. So you put down the elf and the green flame leaps over to the Hookar behind it, dealing 5 damage to it, and the attack against this elven creature seems to cause it to melt into the muck beneath your feet. The last remaining of the infected lizard folk is going to strike out at Angus, who was the last to hit it, attempting to bite him twice. 5 and an 18.
The second one will hit.
Okay, that's going to be 3 piercing damage. And Visir, you watch as this thing launches itself onto Angus.
Well, I'm gonna see what I can do about getting him the frick off. Yep, that one. Alright, so that's a 15 to hit with the quarterstaff and a 22 to hit with the unarmed strike.
The quarterstaff is actually going to miss the creature just by centimeters, but the second the unarmed strike hits, and you feel the flesh burst under your fist as you sink your strike into it.
A hard time keeping myself not covered in pus and ooze.
Thank you for these lovely descriptions of people bursting while I'm eating dinner, Mark. I greatly appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm really hoping that I'm causing our audience to run away in disgust. Actually, that's not true. But hey, I'm trying to paint a picture here. You know what I mean?
I was eating an enchilada and a taco, and he's like, pus just oozes, and I bite down and taco cheese goes everywhere. I'm like, I'm done for the night. I guess I'm not eating anything anymore.
I apologize to everyone in chat for the disgustingness of these creatures.
They love it. I'm going to hit the one in front of me again.
Go for it.
My attack dice 13.
No, you have advantage on your strike, so it's a 23.
So 7 points of damage.
You do. You slam your blade home for 7 points of damage. And Sharp-Eyed is going to run into battle.
Yay.
He's going to come up here and attack the fouled lizard folk, and you hear him curse in some draconic voice, and he slams his heavy club down on it and hits for 7 points of damage, and then tries to rush it with its shield, but the thing kind of moves out of the way just enough to dodge the blow from the spiked shield. Luna, what are you doing on the cliff face?
Well, she's gonna use her channel divinity, and which is preserve life and heal 10 HP to Tsurani and another 10 to Angus.
Okay. Tsurani
That's-
and Angus, you each get 10 hit points.
Ooh.
That's the action. So she'll go about 5 to 10 feet towards Vizier, while staying on the cliff as much as possible.
There you go. All right. The warm light of
Careful, guys.
or the cool light of Thandra's embrace falls over each of you, and you feel life pour back into your bodies. Your fighting spirit slightly renewed, and then
Sure it's life in my case?
well, the Hookar is going to have something to say about it. It's going to make 2 attacks against you. It misses with the first strike, hits with the second. 19. Yeah, you're going to take
Cutting
10.
words. I have something to say about
Ooh.
that too.
16.
Oh, you're
Still hits.
you're kidding me.
You're going to
16
take
damage.
10 damage.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah, it was a.
Yeah, okay.
And then the other one is going to continue to try and take out Tsurani. That's going to be 2 misses because Tsurani still has the Shield of Faith up. Yep. So both of the Hookar's attacks are going to miss. The one spore creature that is left is going to attempt to stab you with this disgusting short sword and also miss.
Yeah.
Angus.
Just gonna still sort of just be sort of almost spinning in a dervish style, just spinning my blades.
Sure.
Gonna take a attack with my main hand against the lizard folk.
Okay. Yeah, that's gonna hit the lizard folk and completely obliterate it. You just like cut it down. And your offhand?
Just trying to calculate how much damage I did to keep track. One sec.
Yeah. You did. Let's see. You'll have done 10 10 plus
12. Right?
No. He's gonna do
20.
10. He's gonna do 10. Yeah, 10 plus 12, so that's 22 plus 3d6. 22 plus 3d6.
Oh god.
So if you want to just use these d6 rolls that I've already rolled, we can just add those up to make it easier. So 12 plus 19, or so 22 plus 19. So you did 30, 41 damage. 41 damage to the lizard folk.
Whew.
You just Ginsu'd the lizard folk. It was like being it's like put into a blender.
Does it look hurt?
it looks dead. You can't see it anymore. It is completely liquefied.
And then sort of spinning, gonna come to like a skidding stop in the mud. Look up into the face of this hook horror. Look down and see how damaged I am. Sort of wave by. Take the disengage action and fire off a grave bolt as I get out of range.
Well, you did sneak attack damage, right? So
Right. Yeah. No, then I will just use my disengage.
no problem.
Get out of range.
I'll give him a clap and a hooray as he exits.
No worries.
It's gonna be Mirth. High five.
Yeah.
Mirth, you high five him, and then it's your action.
All right. I will move my hex to this one as a bonus action,
Sure.
and then step up into the space of the one that just died. Making it careful to like kind of tiptoe my way through the putrescent muck.
You're
Then
doing
I'll
your
look over
best.
and smile and wave and say, "Hey, Salads, what's happening?"
He does not respond to you.
Tsurani doesn't respond. I'll just shrug and say, "You're feeling the burn." And then green flame blade on these two in front of me. Boop. 13 advantage. So, wow, terrible.
Yeah, the first
guessing
strike is
13
going
doesn't
to miss.
Tragic. That's all I get.
Okay. Vasir, it is your action.
I'm gonna go ahead and move over here.
Sure.
I got a nice little hook horror here that I'm going to deal with. Still flanking with Tsurani, even though he's not technically on my side anymore.
I am.
Um,
I'm not on their side.
not on either side, really, at the moment. But you're still hostile to them, which counts for flanking. So
it does.
Boom and boom.
Yeah,
both on that one.
Both attacks will hit the Hookhar, and you'll do 17 damage to the creature.
Boom, boom.
Hit it again.
Get it off me.
Tsurani, what are you doing?
I'm punching the one in front of me again.
Oh, I'm shocked.
21 for 4 points of damage.
Yes. Your damage rolls have been
horrible.
Horrible,
yes,
yeah.
Yes. But
you're slowly whittling it away. It's true. Vasir.
Meat Shield is doing his job and just standing here absorbing punishment while the rest of the party kills things.
It's absolutely true. Sharpeye is going to come in behind this Hookhar and start slamming at it with its club and shield. And he hits for 3 with the first strike and then criticals on the second, dealing a 12 damage to the creature. So it's going to be a total of 15.
They grow up so fast.
They do. Luna.
Yeah.
How are you helping the party?
Well, seeing that things are a bit under control, she's gonna continue from her location. On the creature to the left of Vizier, again, Toll of the Dead.
Okay. You strike out with the funeral bell. And it's gonna roll a 14.
Which is the DC.
Okay. Your Toll of the Deads have unfortunately been not hugely successful. Do you have any bonus actions?
I do not. Shield of Faith is a concentration spell. Do I see anything else coming, or that's it?
So far, this is it. The creatures around, like I said, there are fungal creatures like all around this mushroom. They are kind of like, they are not like the myconids. They look like just mushrooms piled atop one another in the facsimile of life, but are not truly alive. They just dance like puppets. They have not moved or even taken notice of what is going on around them. In the meantime, this Hookhar is going to slash out against Vasir twice. That's another critical.
Oh my God.
I know.
The M on fire tonight.
I'm sorry. You're going to take 20 points of damage, Vasir.
Oh.
From the first attack. The second one is going to completely miss.
And 5 HP, so
yeah. The Hookhar that is we're gonna just delete this dude. The Hookhar that is next to is next to Mirth, is going to attack Tsurani with one of its strikes and miss, and attack Mirth with the other. And is going to... It rolls a 19.
Shield. I whip my sword out and smack its hook aside.
Okay. Angus. Did you have a spell slot for shield?
Yeah, I've used up 4 out of my 5 now.
Okay. That's right. You're a bard warlock. You're not straight warlock.
Yeah.
Just going to move around to get into range and take a swing at this hook horror.
Go for it. That is a
another
critical. There you go.
Oh my god.
Criticals for everybody. You get a crit, and you get a crit, and you get a crit.
Green with envy.
There's been a lot today.
So once again, I just need to keep track of how much damage I'm doing. So it's maximum possible plus the amount rolled.
Right.
Plus
So
modifier,
22
right?
is your max. It's 22 is you're going to be your max every time, right? Because it's 3d6 plus 4, correct? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's going to be 3d6 plus 4. So 22 is going to be your max every time, and then you would roll an additional 3d6. So you can just add up.
Yeah, to be fair, the crits actually already roll the secondary weapon damage dice.
It
so,
does.
yeah.
But I do max damage plus roll. You know what I'm saying?
Right, I gotcha.
So I guess like nine extra in this case?
Yeah.
31, good lord.
Yep, another 31.
Angus, you've done
Is it still up,
108
or is
so far.
that?
It is barely standing. You've like taken most of this thing apart. It has about a fifth of its hit points left.
Then I will use my bonus action to attack with my offhand short sword.
Go for it. If you crit again, I'm going to accuse you of hacking Roll20. But that will hit it, and it'll take 6 more damage. It is like hanging on by a thread, limping on one leg, and like falling apart in front of you. It's literally like the insides of this thing are literally like sloughing out into the muck below. Mirth.
All right. Well, I will. Seeing how it's like so brutally injured, I'm just gonna sidle my way through Angus over here, so I'll stay in its reach.
Okay.
And then I will use Green Flame Blade on
The drow.
this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I am not flanking.
You are not.
Oh, still 13.
That will still hit, and that kills the thing outright. Solace
this one
just
also takes-
whistles.
Yeah, go for it. Describe it.
Solace just whistles through this creature, and you can hear like the discordant melody play through the air as you slice into the creature, and like top half, bottom half kind of fall into the muck below, and the flames from the green flames that drench your blade leap into the hook horror. And go ahead, roll it.
Well, it would be a flat 5. I don't think Hex applies to it because it says
It does not
hit the target with an attack, but it would be just 5.
Okay, then that the hook horror also falls before you.
Oh, just like with the trees.
Angus is going to look down at his boots where he's sort of splashing through this awful liquidy corpse, look across to Mirth and go, we're going to need so much prestidigitation once we get out of here.
I'm an endless well of magic, my friend. 1 chop, 2 chop.
Guys, I'm getting kind of beat up over here.
Tsurani, there's only one hook horror left, but there are many
Hey.
creatures around you.
I didn't go.
Oh,
Oh.
did I skip you?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm
one
so
last thing.
sorry. I'm so sorry. It's your action.
Sorry. One last
Well.
thing. When this one does, I'll use my bonus action to swap the hex to this one.
Okay.
Then
I
Pull that off.
sorry.
it's all good. Another 14 damage to it.
Yeah, that will absolutely be another 14 damage to it. This one's not looking good either. Your blows just keep raining down on this guy. And Tsurani, it is your action.
And I totally missed with a 9.
Okay. You missed the hook horror. But let's see if Sharp-Eyed has anything to say about it. It's gonna hit with he's gonna hit with his second attack, but only barely. Luna?
So there's no more creatures.
There's one hook horror
There's
left.
one.
Right here.
I guess. Yeah, I'll guess she'll finish it off. With again, Toll of the Dead.
All right, let's see if it fails this time.
Attempt to.
That's a 1. It's gonna.
Oh.
Yep. The toll rings out in the mind of this creature, and let me know what your damage is. It is obviously injured.
Yeah. Second.
My camera did not update on live stream.
Interesting. Is that a 1, Nor?
Oh shit, that's 1. Yeah.
Okay.
Great. She'll use again as a bonus action, healing word on Angus.
Vasir, use it on Vasir.
Here has.
Vasir has 5 hit points left.
Yeah, I have 5.
Sorry. Yeah, was here then.
Okay.
Sorry. Second.
Yep. Just waiting
Got
for
all
the roll.
critted earlier.
I did too.
Yeah, multiple times. But you're hardier than I am. I'm a monk.
Nor you get Disciple of Life, which is an extra 3.
Yeah, so that's a +10 for.
So yeah.
0.
Okay.
He's at 15.
Rope's here.
There you are. The hook horror is going to level 1 strike against each of you. Making its first attack against Vasir. 17 to hit.
That matches me.
Cutting Words calls it to miss.
Go ahead and roll. Oh, it doesn't matter. It's
Whatever you
His
roll,
AC
it will
is
miss
flat.
if you-
all right. It misses. It misses Vasir because of your cutting words, and completely misses Tsurani in its next blow. Angus, that's great that you did cutting words, because otherwise it would have immediately dropped him to 0.
Well, I'm all out of them, so let's just kill this thing quick.
Angus, it is your action.
Just looking through this sort of crowd of bodies littering the ground, looking for an opening. Got to sort of circle behind Mirth, go up this way here, and just take a stab out with my short sword.
Go for it.
That'll do it.
That will do it.
Go, Angus.
You slam your blade home into it, and the hook horror kind of cries out and retches, and then falls into the muck. There are no more creatures.
Just going to turn and sort of clap a hand companionly on Vasir and go, "You didn't get knocked unconscious. Good job, buddy."
Mirth,
2 fights in a row.
Mirth,
I'm
what are you
pretty
doing?
Good.
Mirth, what are you doing? As they congratulate each other.
I'm going to take a look around and kind of express my disgust as I realize that I'm standing in a sea of muck and corpses. I'm gonna skip away back to like over here, and I'm gonna. I think I'll just take a seat on a shelf of fungus if I can.
Sure. Vasir, you are you kind of high five Angus, but Tsurani,
Yes.
you still have to attack the nearest creature.
Yes. So
Oh,
my question is which one of these looks which one of these creatures in front of me is covered with the most gunk?
Vasir.
Could be as well. I was wearing my disguise.
Yeah, that's true. You were wearing your disguise. So Vasir or Angus? Angus purposely covered himself in muck.
Okay then, so here's the easiest way. Odds and evens. Odds it's Angus, evens it's Basir. Even Basir.
Poor Vasir.
Miss.
Poor Mystere.
That will miss.
Ooh. Buddy, what are you doing?
Sharp-Eyed is going to attack Tsurani. Seeing him go after Vasir. He doesn't know. He doesn't care.
Oh, beast.
That's a
Stay.
21 to hit, Vasir. Or, I'm sorry, not Vasir, Tsurani.
21?
Yep.
That hits.
Okay, you're going to take 7 points of bludgeoning damage. But he's going to miss with his shield. Luna, you see Tsurani go after Vasir.
Is it possible to know what's wrong with him? Or
He just seems to be in a blind rage of some kind. He is...
Okay.
And you don't know, like, this creature physiologically doesn't look like anything you've ever seen before. So trying to understand exactly what's going on in its head based on the way it's moving or, like, facial expressions is not something that you can ascertain as a humanoid.
Okay, is it shield up? Is it possible to go and position myself between Tsurani and Vasir, or at least push Vasir a little bit back? Is that an action?
If you try to move either Tsurani or Vasir, yes, it would be an action.
Okay, never mind. She'll position herself behind Tsurani and cast Hold Person, which is a Wisdom 14.
Okay, right behind him.
Yeah.
Okay, Tsurani, go ahead and make a Wisdom save. Yeah, that's fine. So he fails his Wisdom save. He is held.
And I guess Shield of Faith is dropped because
Yep.
Person is concentration.
Mm-hmm. It absolutely is. So you hold person on Tsurani, and we're gonna take a short break because I need to run to the restroom.
Oh, good. It's about the first hour talking about alignments. So.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's in Star Trek.
Okay, thank you for the short break. I do want to just quickly give a shout out. Thank you to all the people watching and followers. We did hit 100 followers yesterday, which is awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic. And just a reminder that if you have Amazon Prime, you get a free Twitch subscription every month. And if you feel so inclined and you enjoy what we do, feel free to throw that our way. This stream is brought to you by my patrons and by my subs. So anybody who is able to contribute, you are keeping us on the air. Anyway, we will get back to this. The characters have just fought off this fungal horde and have and Luna has cast Hold Person upon Tsurani, who seems to be in some kind of mad, insane rampage.
Yep.
However, he is currently hold personed. So
He is.
Yes.
For a minute.
Yep, you have 1 minute.
I'm starting the timer right now.
All right, so he is clearly he's clearly crazy right now. Anybody got any ideas besides beating the crap out of him?
I'm gonna. What's happening with the salad?
I don't know. He just attacked me out of nowhere, and he's just like yelling crazily about killing the impure and blah blah.
Oh,
I suggest you take a step back, just in case.
Did we tie him up?
I don't know. Can you tie up vines?
we just throw some rope over there and tie a knot down here. Can't be that hard.
Angus is just going to move over here, pick up his lantern from the sort of edge of the cliff, and then walk back over to the group.
Is there any way to maybe, like, I don't know, maybe this is a temporary insanity, sort of like when we cured the spores that were going on with us? Can we restore them that way?
As a precaution, I'm gonna move my hex onto him to give him disadvantage on strength checks.
Okay.
So that's gonna be there in case we need to grapple trip him or anything.
Sure.
I suggest you guys move back, and when he wakes, when hold person wears off, if he attacks again, maybe knocking him unconscious can help.
If knocking him unconscious is what we need to do, we should probably do it now while he's still held before he ends up accidentally killing one of us.
If he's anybody who wants to.
I'm just saying.
I'm going to take
Get an extra minute because you're talking. 153.
loosely try to tie knots here and where I can and see if I can try to bind Tsurani.
Give me
in as best as possible.
give me a dexterity roll. To see how good of you can kind of tie him up. Apparently pretty damn good.
Sailor knots, man.
Yes, yeah, Luna, what's up?
Yes, I just wanted to say she's just keeping an eye out to see if any of the if any creatures are coming up close.
Okay.
Mirth is gonna walk up and stab him.
Jeez.
Wait, you're gonna just stab him?
Yeah, I don't trust him. He was attacking people.
All right, roll an attack.
In response.
It has advantage.
I do have advantage, and if I hit, it's an.
No.
I don't hit, however. Luckily for you. It's a 1 and a 2. Dang.
I'm gonna go ahead and try and knock him out. Let's see what I can do on that front.
Okay.
My skill held.
Nope.
No. Yeah, you are. You take 7 damage as the hold person wears off.
Sorry.
So I took the first. So I took 14 and then 7 before the hold person wears off.
Where's the 14
you don't take
from?
14.
Just 7, I think.
You only
Oh,
took
Oh yeah,
Mirth-
I didn't even hit you.
Yeah, Mirth did not hit. He missed.
Oh,
My,
okay.
my
So I
arm
take
is sore.
7.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You take 7 as it wears off.
Okay.
Sorry, man. Just stop attacking us.
I'm gonna use my reaction.
Okay. Actually, I don't know if you can use reactions. Let me double check.
Paralyzed creature is incapacitated, I think. Which
No,
means
no,
they
no,
can't
he's
use
coming
actions
out
or
of
anything.
being-
He's coming out
Oh,
of
okay, okay.
person.
Yeah. I need to check if his madness prevents him from doing that. I have to find your madness right now.
That's fine.
Nothing in the regular conditions really indicates that.
Yeah. I have to find the specific madness he is under. It just says the character must use his or her action each round to attack the nearest creature. So, yes, you can use your reactions.
Okay.
So
There are a lot of other creatures still circling this this tower, dancing around, and they were further from you than you guys are, right? Further from Tsurani than you guys are right now. But they're starting to like revel around and closer again. They completely ignore you. They are simply dancing, and you see that those deformed hook horrors and elves and things that you've already dispatched, they start to kind of knit together in this putrescent matter, or like the legs of the hook horror that got cut in half like come up and start continuing the dance, and like this just disturbing, unnatural, like false fungal life of just vileness and disturbing horrors continue to just parade themselves around you in this insanity that you see.
yeah, so I use the scimitar because it's the same attack roll for the 2 vines, my retributive vines. So the first one's going to miss you with a 12,
Right.
this year, and then the second one's going to hit you with a 21
for 5. Yeah.
for 5.
So that's 5 damage done to me. That puts me at 10. So that's great.
Well, I'm at 1, so yeah, you punch me, and just as you hit me, these 2 vines shoot. But you've seen them before. The 2 vines shoot up out of my back and just go. One of them goes right past you.
Managed
The
to
other one-
dodge one of them, but the other one just goes.
Yeah.
Is anybody else reacting to this?
I think it's my turn. No.
I don't. We're not really in turn order because you held him for a minute. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna
I'm
gonna try to make an attack on the first person on Vasir because he's right in front of me.
Makes sense.
and then if
And
And
anybody,
I've already done my attack, so.
I'm gonna try and knock him out with the shield.
go ahead.
Is
Should
that-
Tsurani be able to attack me first since he already did his reaction on me?
No, I think that Luna would be able to strike with the shield as
I'm
Tsurani
also
goes to
gonna-
attack.
Okay.
I'm also going to try and slap him.
Well,
Is this-
Mirth, you already attempted to
Yeah,
attack
Mirth, you
him.
already attacked.
Okay.
Yeah. This is just my version of Hellish Rebuke.
Yep. So go ahead, Luna.
Is
Strike
this
with.
unarmed strike?
No, it would be an attack with like an improvised weapon. So just make an attack roll with whatever your normal attack roll is. Just make that, but you do a d6 damage instead.
You don't get your proficiency bonus, I don't believe.
Plus
No, I don't. I'm not sure. With an improvised weapon, you might be right.
Yeah,
natural,
it depends on your class.
Yeah.
natural 1.
If you have the
Oh,
tavern
okay.
brawler feat.
Well, he missed anyway. So
So just saying, Tsurani attack is here. She tries to knock him out, but fails miserably for some reason.
So I think Tsurani is currently somewhat tied up, which would make him restrained, which I believe gives him disadvantage on attack rolls.
Yeah.
oh, that is true. Tsurani is still tied up.
So Luna calls to the party. Maybe, guys, I don't think we should stay here. We can't stay here.
Angus definitely knocks out Tsurani.
Okay. Just that final point of damage.
Wait, that misses.
An 18.
Oh, 18 misses?
I have a 19.
Oh, right.
Well,
God.
You don't have the fit anymore.
No, his
No.
AC is 21 with the shield.
yeah,
Yes.
his AC is 21 with the shield of face off.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was gonna say,
I have a
Agus was
shield
gonna,
and armor.
Agus was gonna try like Will Smith in
Angus,
Independence Day, to be like,
Angus,
"Welcome
you
to
use the
Earth,"
inspiration
and
die.
then just cracks his knuckles.
Angus, you still have that inspiration die from earlier. You can use it to get the hit.
Oh yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
No matter what you roll on the inspiration die, you'd hit at that point, because, yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
So
If you
yes,
roll below a 1.
you do
What?
1 point. You do 1 point of
damage.
bludgeoning damage to Tsurani and knock him out.
How cold?
Just gonna turn to Mirth, take out the foil.
Okay, we should probably get him away from the big mushroom, because he wasn't attacking us before we were at the big mushroom.
We'll go light the fire, and then we'll drag him out of here. And he's our guide.
Just so
we're gonna have to wake him up.
Just so you all know, now that you're closer to the big mushroom, you see windows in it with like an iridescent glow coming out of those windows high up in this tower. And there's definitely movement inside.
Okay,
How high
things
is the
live
closest
here.
one?
I'd say about 30 feet up.
Right. I'll be right back, guys. And then he's gonna go leap onto the wall and climb up to the first window.
All right, give me a climb check because it is slimy.
I have boots of slippers of spider climb.
You do have slippers of spider climb. That is true. All right, you go climbing up the wall.
Spider-Man.
Had my way up.
Spider-Man.
I still think that never mind. No, you just climb up the wall.
No.
And
Okay.
you look through one of these windows, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and do it very discreetly though.
All right, give me a stealth roll.
I don't know how discreetly it's. I think it's going to sound more like.
Wow, I'm terribly today.
You climb up this thing, and when you look in the window, you audibly gasp, preventing you from being very stealthy.
Oh,
Inside the mushroom tower is a sight. You see the visage of the bride, Wariga, floating inside of this huge mushroom, surrounded by spiraling balconies of fungi, where this. Do you remember the fungal creatures that that Shepherd had called up?
oh yeah.
There are a large number of them attending to her, singing that strange discordant song, and weaving a gown out of like layers of this like wispy fungal rot. The visage of Wariga seems to be in deep meditation. The eyes of the creature, as far as you could tell, are closed, and she just kind of floats there as this gown and veil are being like woven around her. She doesn't move, and you kind of watch this. She's massive, huge, towering.
Oh boy.
And that's what you see in within this place.
Right, Murph will turn around, run the fuck back down this mushroom while swearing, and then he's gonna barge up to I guess these two, and kind of frantically tap them on the shoulders. Ears, cards. We have to go. Big lady inside. Lots of shepherd people. The people that came out of the ground. We have to go.
Can we at least try setting the fire first? I mean, I'm all for running, but we came here to try something. It might not work, but we can put in the effort.
Priority is getting our big guide out of here before he away from the thing that's making him crazy.
Guys,
Yeah,
this is
let's
not
just
a
go.
fight.
We know where it is. We can set the fire another time.
I'm gonna just kind of like grab one of the ropes and just like motion for Sharp Eye to just help me drag.
Angus will
Tsurani.
pick up another end of the rope and help you
Okay.
two.
Okay.
Tsurani.
So you're not lighting the fire? You're just booking it?
No, because that's probably going to actually cause a lot of things to come at us more than before, and
Yeah.
we're not really in a position to deal with that.
Okay. You grab Tsurani and you begin leaving the infested crater. The creatures down there, once again, they seem to give little care to you as they continue this this odd and unusual dance about the place. And you make your way back up to the crescent-shaped ridge that surrounds this tower. There is just a chill of evil that runs down your spines as you leave this place, and you look at yourselves covered in muck and just awful.
I am in desperate need of all sorts of cleaning.
And you make your way back to the Myconid cavern beyond, to the place where the Garden of Heads rested. What are you doing from here?
Should get out of here as soon as possible. This is not our fight.
Yeah, we already left. I think we're back in the main chamber of the Myconid.
I meant leave the cave totally, since the original inhabitants of the cave are already left. So we have no business here.
The Philo and his other Myconids are still present. They have gone about their routine and have finished the melding and are heading off to their places where they spend time resting. What are all of you? You look over and the cave is quiet and restful, and you kind of see on the other. Those of you who have dark vision can see in the dimness through the low glow of the phosphorescent fungi. you can see that Baraldi and those who follow him are quickly making their way out of the caverns that the mushroom forest rest in.
Angus is gonna sort of cross to Luna. I guess I never really asked. You came to Anchor looking to speak to Reginald Shepard, and I guess with the way events played out, that never really got to happen. I know Baraldi said he was working on something for you. I mean, if you need to follow up on that, we can do. But if you want to leave, I am more than happy to cut and run.
I could speak to him before we leave.
Baraldi and his people are gathered near the entrance to this mushroom cavern and are preparing to leave. You could probably... They do not move quickly, so you could probably catch up to them if you run, but you do have an unconscious creature with you as well.
So before we he's stable, right? He's not.
Yeah, he's unconscious. He's not dying. You specifically did non-lethal damage to him.
Oh, okay. Before. Okay. If I may, I cast Cure Wounds on Angus and Vizier, and if I may, I go to Baraldi to tell him about what's wrong with Tsurani and ask him about where can we meet again so he can give me what he promised.
You catch up to him. He's ushering the circles that still follow him out of this cavern, and he's kind of shepherding them from behind, and you run up to him to ask him about this, and he looks at you and looks down, and you hear in your mind, "Oh, little half-elf, fleshling, softer." He pats you gently on the shoulder. "We will meet again. I do not know yet where I take my circles, but when we find a place to plant our roots, I will make sure that you get what was promised of you."
How much time do you need?
"I do not know where we yet travel, but to brew this potion I think will help you will only take a couple of days. You should get out of this place too. It is dangerous here now."
Can you help us with Tsurani?
"What is wrong with Tsurani?"
When we got into the crater, somehow he went into this rage and started attacking everything he sees. He even attacked us. So please help him so he can help us find you later on.
"Bring him to me. We will wait. We have some time."
And she goes running back to the group. Guys, Baraldi is asking us to bring him Tsurani. Maybe he can help him.
Hey, sure. Whatever helps.
So you did 2 rolls, which would be for
Yeah,
who?
the 8 for Angus, the 9 for Vizier.
Okay, thank you.
You guys carry Tsurani down to where Baraldi is in the mushroom forest.
I will stay far away from Tsurani, and I will have my sword out the whole time. And Mirth just looks pissed.
I'll keep like right next to Tsurani just in case anything happens. At the very least, I can throw a punch.
Okay.
Just sort of stood at the other end, sort of trying to make kind of limb to sort of help carry and drag Tsurani.
No problem. Baraldi reaches a large hand out and places it upon the dome of Tsurani's head, the almost mushroom cap-like shape that's there, and his eyes go wide for a moment. He has been taken by some madness. I can sense it in his sleeping thoughts.
Yeah, he did kind of attack us out of nowhere, screaming about the impure. Imagine that probably has to do with it.
You would not be wrong.
Do you think it's the same kind of madness that's in Shepard's journal?
No. No, I do not think so. I have sensed that kind of madness on Philo for some time, and this is not the same. This one has not been corrupted, merely driven beyond the limits of his own comprehension. I think he will be all right, given time to rest. You should get him far from this place. Would you
Beyond the limits of his own comprehension. I am with you on that one. I am so confused about what's going on.
Would you care to travel with us as we search for a place to have a new circle?
Getting away from here. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I mean, until I find out some other way that I can help, I don't know what else I can do.
I think this is beyond your abilities. Though I know that you seek to help those you find. I can sense that about you. And obviously he's speaking to you in your minds. I do not think that this fight is for you alone. You may need to grow in strength or grow in numbers. We are a peaceful kind. We do not wish to fight. But I must meditate on this. There may be something that I can do to prevent this ceremony you speak of.
What can you do?
I do not yet know.
I am very loath to leave all of this alone. It's very clear that something very terrible is going to happen. And I have a big feeling that the people of Anchor are going to be the first people to feel what's going to happen as a result.
I do not doubt that that is true.
Unless we come up with a better plan, all we're really going to do is contribute a couple of extra bodies to the pile down there. We need...
What do we tell the people of Anchor? Do we tell them they have to move shop, that there's something crazy under here that's happening, and if they don't move, they're all going to die? Would they even believe us?
We must go. You may follow if you desire. Stay if you must. I understand either choice.
No, I'm definitely going. I signed up for a big mushroom, and I'm not getting myself killed before I meet my siblings. They didn't live for that, and neither will I.
Fine, it's not like I can do a whole lot on my own.
I'm going. You keep your crazy mushroom man away from me. I'll level my sword at Baraldi and gesture to Tsurani as I say that last part.
He nods.
I'll go stand by the exit.
I'll follow Murph. And ask him if he... What did he see inside? Did you see the lady
Baraldi
there?
actually picks up Tsurani and hefts him onto his shoulder. Anyway, continue.
Well, I
Yeah,
saw a lot more than I signed up for. I came into that room knowing there was a big mushroom. Maybe we'd burn it down, leave some embers in our trail, you know? Just not that. I didn't sign up for that. Shepherd was bad enough. That book is something I don't know, and I hate not knowing things. And I'm pissed at being chased out of everywhere I go, but I've got to find my brothers. So this is how I'll go. I'll just keep on leaving, and maybe someday I'll know. Someday I'll come back here, but that day is not today. And these mushroom people have done nothing to help me out.
She puts her hand on Bertha's shoulder and she tells him calmly and gently that someday he will be reunited with his siblings.
I know. I just need to find a way to do it.
And I agree, this is not our fight.
It's not a fight. I'm gonna live no matter what. My only goal has been living for the past 20 years. So I'll keep doing that, and I'll keep reading, and I'll keep learning. I'll keep killing and running. As long as I get to see them.
And I hope and I hope that I can be of some aid to you.
I hope that too. You've been good.
You guys, you move out of the mushroom forest and into the caverns themselves, and Baraldi starts leading his circle towards the part of the cavern that you had fought Shepherd in, and beyond it, deeper into what were once these old mines. If you choose to follow him, you notice that he is going down into the mines below to look for shelter for his circles.
Mines are where we came through in order to get here in the first place, right?
Yes, but
Yeah.
you went up to that area that you came down from the that crack basically in the side of a small
I
hill.
recall there were two paths. We took one path that led us into the mushroom forest.
Right.
We didn't really explore the other one.
When you went up where you had fought Shepherd, there are a couple of other paths down away from there that continue down deeper into the mines below. You don't have to follow them, but that is where they are going. And Baraldi was carrying Tsurani's body because Mirth has requested that he keep the mushroom person as far away from him as possible.
Yeah, Luna calls up to Braldi. Aren't you going up?
Mushrooms, they can't go up.
Up is no place for us.
These guys need a place that's dark and damp. Like,
If
the
you
closer to the surface, the worse.
We will go deeper.
If you go that way, I may never find you.
Hey, don't worry. We still need Tsurani just in case we ever need to find them again anyway. So I'm going to keep going with them. If you guys want to go up to the surface, that's fine.
Okay, I have about 4 hours worth of oil left in this lantern, and one more flask of oil, which will give us a total of 10 hours. Then we're down to my rapier as the only source of light that you and I are going to have down here. You sure you're okay with that?
Do you wish to take Tsurani and go to the surface?
make sure that he's cured first.
If you can find a way to stop whatever it is this Queen of Rot is trying to do down here, maybe we could look on the surface. You said it's the swamp that she's trying to get married to. I mean, we could look around, see if we can find a way to fix things up there. Diversify our approaches.
There is a fungus beneath the swamp's surface, deeper even than this cavern. The roots of the swamp connect into this network. It is a living, thinking thing. I have touched its mind once. If she were to join with it, as you say, she would control a thing which is very alive and very vast. I think that there is a way I can delay this for a time, but I am not sure.
We're not really solving a whole lot here in the first place. Let's take it one step at a time. First things first. Before we take Tsurani back, I need to make sure that he's not going to attack us again. That's going to be the main thing. That way, he can guide us in and out whenever we need to. Secondly, as far as this giant fungus thing is concerned, that she's trying to get married to, I'm gonna go ahead and guess it's probably gonna be even bigger than that big old mushroom tower that we saw before. Which, if that's the case, not really a whole lot you and I can do right now. But I do think that we should probably make it back to Anchor to let them know that something's going down and they all need to move.
I think you're probably right. Even if it's only until this whole situation blows over, getting people away from the swamp would probably be a good idea.
Convincing them is going to be a whole thing in itself.
I think
Will Tsurani attack us again?
Well, that's what we're trying to make sure it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I'm asking Geraldi.
I do not believe that he will. I think rest will be good for his mind.
We'll take him then. We'll take him. We'll carry him to the entrance of the of where we came from, and maybe set up camp, rest for a little bit, let him rest. We'll all get a little bit of rest too, and then make our way back to Anchor. How's that sound, guys?
He will know how to find me.
I'm for it. I haven't seen the sun in far too long.
Sounds like a plan. Feels like we've been down here for at least a week or so.
It's been a few days.
More than enough.
You gather up Tsurani, and you head back to the hole in the ground that you crawled in. Back up to the swamp. When you get up there, you make camp. I'm assuming you make camp outside the cave, or are you making camp just inside the cave?
Just inside.
Okay.
Just in case it's like raining or whatever.
You make camp.
DM,
Yes.
how long since our long rest?
Since your last long rest?
Yeah.
Actually not long, I think. Because I think you can't. You rested just before going down there, didn't you?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. So
Okay.
This is gonna be a short rest.
So are you going to take a short rest outside the cave and then travel back towards Anchor?
I'm fine with it unless you guys want to.
What time of day is it? We have sort of lost track being underground.
It is.
If we look up at the sky,
It's night. When you come out, it is night.
Yeah, traveling at night's not a good idea anyway.
you can technically like rest for 8 hours, but you wouldn't get the benefits of a long rest. You would just be able to take the benefits of a short rest, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like you don't have to. That's the thing, is like you only get the benefits of a long rest once every 8 hours, but that doesn't mean you have to be active and do things the other. You know what I mean? It's nighttime. If you're like, well, we just got up, we went down and had this like crazy, we fight in this cavern. Like we need to just like get our heads together.
Angus is going to rummage around in his pack and pull out a sort of bundle, unwrap it, and sort of go, ugh. Revealing the severed head of Reginald Shepherd. This thing's already starting to rot, and our plan is kind of contingent upon people recognizing who this is. The sooner we get back to Anchor so that we can tell everybody what happened to the priest, the better. Because as far as they know, we could have killed him because we're evil brigands. So
Yeah, but I feel like carrying his head into town isn't going to help that perception.
I didn't necessarily want to be, parading through the streets with it, but if we talk to Mayor LeBeau and tell him what happened, but as I said, it's sort of contingent upon this severed head being recognizably Shepherd and not Sludge.
Have you ever met the mayor?
I met him when I first came to town. He's an old friend of my captain, so I don't know him well, but hopefully her vouching for me will count for something.
You think he'll understand this? And not order us to be
Strikingly clear, I don't understand this. I have no idea what's going on. I am playing it a day at a time at this point.
I don't really understand a whole lot myself. All I know is that there's evil stuff going on, and if you're a good person, then you stop evil from happening. That's what I know. That's what I'm used to.
I just know that I have 10 hours of light that we could make use of. And then we'll be down to my rapier. So I wouldn't feel confident necessarily walking through the swamp with only the light of my rapier. But for as long as I've got the light from this lantern, we could make a go at it.
Do you guys remember how far from Anchor you are here?
Yeah,
Several days.
I think it was like 3 days travel. It was 3 or 4 or something.
Yeah, we have several days to get back.
Okay, so let me get a broad scope. What is your plan going forward? Are you heading back to Anchor? Is that the plan?
We'll
Yes.
probably be heading back to Anchor. We'll start off by resting until Tsurani is conscious and good to go and not crazy.
Okay.
And then we'll head off. And then basically, whenever we're starting to feel tired, take a little bit of a rest, take our time. Don't push ourselves too hard.
Okay. You can take a short rest right now. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do that. Tsurani, you can also use hit dice and be conscious at the end of the short rest.
If we are taking a short rest, can I assess if there's any wood from the trees nearby that could be used to make a raft to maybe speed up our journey across some of the deeper water?
Yeah, give me a survival roll.
And when the time is right, Luna will want to go to see Beraldi.
You don't mean right now, right?
Yeah, when the time is right.
Okay.
When he'll...
Yeah, it's going to take a couple of days for Beraldi. It's going to take a little time for Beraldi to make that potion. Survival, your survival roll, you find...
It's like before, where it's not the right kind of wood.
Yeah, not the right kind of wood. Okay.
Can I help with this, or it's too late?
It kind of is what it is. Tsurani, are you using any hit dice?
No, I'm checking out something here real quick. It asked me if I want to restore all my hit points using one of my wild shapes, which I think I will.
Oh, Okay.
Oh.
All right. When you come to, you will no longer be driven mad.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, you guys take about an hour to rest. Did anybody look at that wand you guys found?
I think Mirth did last time. It's a wand of web.
Wand of web, yeah.
Yeah. Wand of
Okay, I
Web.
didn't know if you had found out what
That's
it
stuck
was.
in my. It's the one that's stuck in my mind still.
Right.
A collection of sticks.
Towards the end of that hour of rest, Tsurani comes to. He seems more hale and far more sane when he comes out of his unconsciousness.
Oh, never mind. I have to do. It reads really weird.
Okay, then just use hit dice.
I am
Okay.
17.
Okay.
So I guess we're careful around him, seeing him waking up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my fingers will just be dancing with energy as soon as I see him stir.
What has happened? Where? What place is this?
We can.
Just having some connection.
Yeah, there's a connection issue for a second. Hold on. Okay, try now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. Where am I? What is this place?
Hey, you kind of went a little crazy while we were fighting down there. After we got done taking out all the guys that were attacking us, you kind of came at me, trying to kill me, so that was a little weird. So we kind of knocked you out and went back to ask what we should do. They said that you should be fine with a little bit of rest, but that what's going on at the moment is probably not something that we can handle. So right now, we took you to the edge of the cave that we came in to find you guys with, and we're going to head back to Anchor to let everybody know that stuff's going to happen, and it's going to happen sometime in the future, and they need to leave, or they're going to be the first people to suffer the consequences. That's what our current thing is. We're bringing you along specifically because once we're ready to take on whatever it is down there, we're going to need you to lead us back to where we need to go. And we were told you would know.
My apologies. I do not remember any of that. I remember seeing the hole and the awfulness that the blight has wreaked upon them, and I recall nothing else. So my apologies if I harmed you in any way.
Hey, it's not the first time one of us went mad.
You said you were going to Anchor. What place is this?
It's a human city or town, which probably means they might not be like really into you, but it's a place that's really relatively nearby. And they've been the ones that have been currently suffering some of the problems as a result of all the stuff that's been going on down below.
So it is a human circle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So are we going now?
Yeah, we were just kind of waiting for you to get all rested up before we headed out.
I feel rested now.
All right, then I guess we're good to go, unless anybody has any objections.
Angus is just fumbling with a pile of sticks, just cursing under his breath. This is never going to come together. Let's get going.
we'll stop there for tonight, I think.
Set off
And
on our journey next week.
yes, you'll be traveling to Anchor, and we'll pick up with that. I hope you guys had fun. I know it was a kind of a shorter session because of the technical difficulties we've had tonight. But I hope everybody out there enjoyed the stream, and everybody who played enjoyed the developments of what is happening. And we'll bring this back around next week. Thanks for watching, and join us again. We play I run D&D every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday on Twitch. So jump in and watch, and have a good night.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, I'm going to get ready to start one of mine in probably about 15, 20 minutes. If you guys, if I can make a shameless plug.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing an actual character generation on Aurora. I'll talk about it once we get started, but it'll be about 15 minutes. So I can take my break from the D&D thing, reset my mind so I can do some more D&D.
Yeah.
Because
So
my character got killed on Saturday, so we had a TPK.
go check out Loophole's Aurora stream after this. You can head over there on his Twitch channel. Yeah, check that out. And otherwise, I'll probably be hosting it here on my channel as well, so you can watch it here too. And anyway, thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks a lot. You guys have a good one.
Bye all.
Stay safe.